So college football quarterback battles entering the summer via Pete Nakos. At Alabama, Ty Simpson versus Austin. How do you want to do this, Craig? You want to go like one by one or just
sure segment, Pat?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one by one. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So Ty Simpson versus Austin Mack versus Keelan Russell. We'll start with that one. I think Ty Simpson's won the job, but they haven't announced it yet. And Austin Mack followed Kalen DeBoer from Washington and Keelan Russell. He's from Houston, right?
He's from Dallas,
Duncanville. He's from Duncanville. From Duncanville is the true freshman, future star there, they think. I don't really think that I don't think we'll see him this year, but we've only seen a little bit of Ty Simpson, and it was in the rain against USF a couple years ago, which was a terrible game all the way around for Alabama. But Craig, this one, it's a battle, but I'm not as intrigued by it because I do think it's just going to go to Ty Simpson.
Well, Kalen DeBoer said today that if they had to play today, it'd be Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
So there's your answer.
Yeah. So
I think that was the favorite already. And the other guys, I think he wants the competition and to allow them to, be in the mix. And who knows what kind of crazy things I guess could happen over the course of the summer. But it seems pretty clear, even without that quote, but especially with that quote, that right now it's Ty Simpson. So I think that one's clearer than probably some of the others on this list.
Yeah. At Syracuse, this one, Garrett, I'm very intrigued by. I know you are probably a little bit too, because Ricky Collins, who was one of the heir apparents at LSU, when Garrett Nussmeier was coming back, which I don't know why he was surprised about, but But Garrett Nussmeier came back. He's going to play another year. Ricky Collins says, okay, I'm going to go play at Syracuse. Then after spring, Steve Angeli loses out on the Notre Dame quarterback job, and he transfers to Syracuse. And we've seen him. We've never seen Ricky Collins play. We have seen Steve Angeli play in the college football playoff for a stretch, and he played really well when he was in the game. Craig, I know that this is a guy who lost a job versus a guy who clearly didn't do enough to win it so they didn't get back in the portal. But even still, this one is very intriguing to me to see what happens when Steve Angeli gets there and starts practicing at Syracuse.
Yeah, I haven't followed this one super closely, but I do know that, Fran Brown felt it was necessary to go or felt it was a good idea to go and get Angeli when he became available. So that tells me that he wasn't completely sold, obviously, on Ricky Collins. And I think with Angeli's experience, if I had to pick a starter, I think I'm going with Angeli to start the season and then, kind of go from there as all teams will. But he was brought in for a reason to compete. So I feel like, there are some cases where maybe it's just to push a guy, but I think with Angeli's background, you're not bringing him in just to push a guy in spring football and in the fall and then bench him, basically, if that makes sense. I think you're bringing him in because you think he could maybe be a better starter for you.
Yeah.
So that's where I lean is Steve Angeli.
And his stretch, go back and watch it in the college football playoff game when Riley Leonard was out banged up. He was fantastic. He helped keep him in that game, as a matter of fact. So we've seen him do some good things, but, really wasn't quite, what they wanted at Notre Dame. I'm going to skip to Notre Dame since that's a better flow through here. And so Kenny Minchie and CJ Carr, the quarterbacks, vying for that one. I think CJ Carr is the leader of the clubhouse. I know from what I've read, they seem to really like Kenny Minchie as well, but
For the past 4 years, we have trusted Jackery to keep us powered while on the road. The Explorer 5000 Plus provides 5,040 watt hours of portable power so we can move it around our house or even take it to a family member who's lost power. We've already had 3 power outages since moving, and our fridge and Wi-Fi are definitely the most essential for us. Pair it with the smart transfer switch to power your entire house off the Explorer 5000 Plus. We can't wait to take this little one camping, but for now, we're enjoying all the snuggles with peace of mind at home.
CJ Carr, grandson of Lloyd Carr, legendary Michigan head coach, is there. I think it's his job. Talking to a couple of Notre Dame guys last year, we did some segments. I asked about Steve Angeli, and they said, yeah, even before CJ Carr had played, they just kind of felt it was CJ Carr's job to lose once Riley Leonard left.
Yeah, I haven't tracked this one super closely, but it's a battle of guys with no production. I mean, it's going to be a blank slate for both of these guys. Not entirely, I don't think, in Minchie's case, but like very, very little substance to either one of their careers so far because they're both super young. They're both very young guys. So yeah, they're going to be rolling out a fresh meat type of quarterback, whichever one they decide. But it does sound, just from like reading the tea leaves and just various reports out there, like it is leaning towards Carr based on what I've seen. Again, I haven't followed that one in particular super closely, but if I had to predict, then I think I'm going Carr in that quarterback battle.
Yeah, me too. The reports on him earlier, he did get like hurt a little bit, banged up in the spring game, and then came back in. But it appears everything's good to go. We'll finish with Tennessee, Garrett. I don't want to. That one's the wildest one, obviously. But at Ohio State, they're replacing a ton of guys. They're replacing not only on the field, but both coordinators. All of that is changing. Matt Patricia comes in to coach the defense. Brian Hartline elevated to be the full-time offensive coordinator now with that title. And they've got Julian Sayin, who's the number one recruit in the country in the 2024 class, against Lincoln Kienholz, who was a guy who was very highly recruited, but not the highest recruited player in the country. I think this is Julian Sayin, Craig. I mean, I also skipped Colorado on this one, but we've got a couple of guys on this list who are true freshmen, who are maybe not in the Bryce Underwood category, but or redshirt freshmen that are right behind him. I think Julian Sayin is that dude.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I would be shocked if it's not him. I mean, Kienholz is obviously pushing him. There have been reports that it's neck and neck and what have you. But, yeah, I mean, it seems like it's Sayin's time to shine, and kind of got the rumblings of that last year when they started to look past Will Howard of what the future would look like. I mean, he's always the guy that you pointed to as just a logical successor. So, if I had to place my bets on who is rolling out for the Buckeyes in week number 1, I'm going with the super blue chip there in Julian Sayin.
Yeah. Aaron Noland was also there, and he transferred to South Carolina before spring ball. So he kind of knew the writing on the wall as well, and he's going to be the backup for Lenora Sellers this year. And he was very highly recruited as well.
Yeah, he was. That's going to be really nice for Beamer to be able to turn the page after Sellers goes to the NFL. If that's, this year remains to be seen, but he's obviously an exceptionally talented player as well. So, yeah, South Carolina's quarterback room seems like it's in really good hands moving forward. And, I know Kienholz is a highly recruited guy or highly rated player as well, but not to the level of Sayin and, being the second, or not the second, but being the next coming of, the lineage of great Ohio State quarterbacks. It just seems like that's the direction that it's supposed to go is him taking over. But yeah, South Carolina will be, I think they're setting up to be, solid for quite a while. Yeah. With Beamer there doing his thing.
Yeah. This battle in Ohio State in particular is, not just who's the starter, but now you start wondering, okay, where's the other guy going to transfer to eventually? And they're both really highly rated. And they're both the same eligibility level at redshirt freshmen. So, or right there. So back to Colorado, Caden Salter versus Julian Lewis. Craig, I think this is Caden Salter's job, but I don't think he's going to have a lot of room for error, because he is, and you've made this point very clear, he's about to play the best schedule he's ever played in college by a long, and it won't even be close.
Yeah, I mean, unlike what Kienholz was saying, where there's the veteran and you actually go with the younger guy, I think I do go with the older guy here. I mean, Salter's played a lot of football. He's played a lot of football, even if it was at Liberty for a couple years against a very manageable schedule, let's say. And even if that props some things up in terms of his numbers, he's still a guy who's played, like I said, a lot of football at this stage. He's been in trouble, and he's found his way out of it, and he's had some downs, and he's had a lot of ups. And I think he's built to be that transition quarterback coming off of Shador and then leading into your young guy eventually in Julian Lewis. And I don't think that, unless he's just so primed and ready for it, that if he rolls in, he just beats Caden Salter out for the starting job with nothing but his high school resume, and he just goes and beats him out, then that'll be a hell of a story, because Caden Salter's been playing for a long time. He's approaching 100 games at this point. Maybe not that close, but there's a vast difference between the two. So, yeah, I default to the vet here, and I think that'll be the way they start off. Now, who knows? I don't know how much it'll take, but I definitely don't think it's impossible that Julian Lewis sees the field, or that he's maybe not even a starter by the end of the year if Salter were to struggle, because Salter will be moving on after this season. I believe he's
he's out
out of
of
eligibility. Yeah, so he's got to move on. So yeah, I expect we'll see a little bit of Lewis, but to start off with, I go Salter.
Yeah, I think that one's probably the least clear cut of this guy wins the job and keeps it the whole year.
Yeah, I mean that's the one that's easiest to me to predict. Honestly, I think. I just also it's closer to home. I've just followed that one a bit closer, but yeah, that to me seems like a no-brainer. And there shouldn't be a rush. I mean, Salter's there to be the guy to bridge the gap, not to be the guy just to push the freshman to be a better freshman. He's there to help the freshman not have to be everything and anything right out of the gates. So I think that was a smart move on Deion's part. And I just think the question with Salter is the level up in competition. I mean, he started his career at Tennessee, got in trouble, got booted, goes to Liberty, had a really good year 2 years ago. They got demolished, though, at the end by Oregon in the bowl game, if you'll remember. And then last year was kind of an afterthought, quite frankly. He went from being on a player of the week list seemingly every week 2 years ago to maybe being on it once or twice the entire year. So it was just is not quite the same last season. I think he's more than a quality player.
Top two receivers also left in the transfer portal last year.
Yeah, they just weren't the same team as the great run to, what bowl was that, the Fiesta Bowl maybe, against Oregon a couple of years back. Yeah. So that to me, just knowing the situation a little bit closer, I think is the clearest one.
And this one, college football's first accidental trade, Joey Aguilar comes in from UCLA, as that's where Nico Iamaleava went. And I think the reason this one, I mean, obviously,
look at all of us are able to say Nico Iamaleava now, pretty much without stuttering too much. And I start to stutter as soon as I say it, but we could all say it now. Like, thanks for that story here in the last few weeks. Everybody is able to not pronounce his name correctly, I think.
Yeah. But none of the three guys in this quarterback competition, the day before spring football ended, thought they would be the starting quarterback at Tennessee in 2025.
Yeah.
Like none of the three of them, Jake Merklinger and George McIntyre, they were, okay, well, Nico is, going to start this year and then likely go to the NFL draft if all things goes well. And then, Jake and George are like, we'll battle it out in the spring in 2026. Now they're thrust into a quarterback competition with Joey Aguilar, who transferred to UCLA from App State thinking, hey, I can, he's had a nice career at App State. I'm going to go to UCLA and help Deshaun Foster and some of the things that have got going on there. And then Nico decides that he wants to be back home or whatever the reasoning was and all that. It's all still, is conjecture because we haven't heard directly from Nico yet. But Joey Aguilar comes in. He's probably going to start the season, but this could be chaos in Knoxville this year.
I mean, an injury could definitely throw for a loop, but I'm saying Joey Aguilar is a starting quarterback. I mean, that's pretty clear the way they moved on from Nico to go and get him. I don't think that one's much of a question mark. But if there's an injury or something along those lines, then that could get really weird really quick. So Tennessee, man, what an offseason, huh? Go from being basically book them in the playoff again. Seems like it's almost a no-brainer to have them maybe back in the mix, although they did lose a lot. So if you didn't, I don't blame you at all. But just you could at least say that you were expecting a really solid year at worst, and now you're like maybe – I mean, we were just talking to Will a few minutes ago. He has Tennessee at like 11 or something in their power rankings, and they would have been a borderline playoff team prior to the Nico move. So, man, what a punch to the gut. It'll be a cool story if one of these guys is able to just kind of take the mantle and run with it and make them super competitive and in the mix. I don't think any of these guys unlock them the way that Nico was going to unlock them. Not that he was like the perfect player by any means, but he was as highly rated as he was for good reason. So, I think this is Joey Aguilar, but it could get kind of squirrely if another wrench is thrown into the picture.
Yeah, it could be very, very wild.